in this exercise, you're going to work with InDesign and using paths. So let's start by creating a new document. This document is going to have page size of letter. It's going to have the portrait orientation. We're going to go ahead and give it 2 columns, and we're going to give it a gutter of 2 pica 0, and we need to click more options if you don't see your bleed and your slug, and we're going to give us a 3 pica bleed all the way around, and click OK. Remember, the red is your bleed, the black is your document border, and this purpley color is your margins. You will want to resize your document like this so that you can see the video and work next to it at the same time. All right, so first thing we're going to do is this. You have this pen tool, and the pen tool works very similar to how it did with Photoshop, Illustrator, Fireworks, Flash, all of those things. It can be a frustrating tool, but it's also a very useful tool. We're going to start off by creating a path that we're going to type our title on. So I'm going to choose my pen tool, and before I do, I want to come over to my color panel, and I want to make sure that I have a transparent fill, and I'm going to go ahead and leave it with a black stroke. However, I'm going to change that stroke color at a later time. Okay? So this is what I'm going to do. I want to click and make a point up here at the intersection of my document, my left and top document. I'm going to click, and I'm going to click. Notice I can kind of mark here where my rulers are, right around that 6 pica mark. I'm going to click and I'm going to drag, and notice that's making a curve. And then I'm going to click almost back up to the document margin, about halfway between there and the document margin. And whoops, and I'm going to click and I'm going to drag this as well. And notice that I have this handle. This is a Bezier handle. I'm going to drag it to where it's about here. And then I'm going to click down about the same spot. And again, I'm going to be able to drag my handle. And then drag, or not drag, but click up at the top again. Now, once you get that, you are going to be able to zoom in a little bit, and with your direct selection tool, you can adjust where your handles are. Okay, you can drag your handles like this, or you can click and drag on the points. Okay, either way to where you get a curve where you like it. And actually, I think I'm going to bring mine down here. There. That's going to be my curve. Okay? All right. So there it is. Yours doesn't have to look exactly like mine, but you do want to get something kind of similar. All right. Now, docked underneath the text tool, you have a type tool. You have a type on a path tool. Go ahead and get that tool. And first, I would like to go ahead and choose a font. And the font that I want is, I forgot what it's called. It's kind of a handwriting. Well, we'll use this one, Noteworthy Bold. And notice that when I get close to a path, see how that plus sign appears? That lets me know that I'm going to be able to type on a path. Before I type on this path, I want to align center. Okay, so I click, and it automatically goes to the center of the path, and I'm going to type dolphins, and then I'm going to put colon, 2 spaces, beautiful sea creatures. And you can see how it is following the path. Now, this is our title or our heading for the page. So it's kind of small. So I'm going to want to select it like I just did and increase the font size. And because I centered it, it is moving equally on both sides. And I'm going to increase this. I think I'm going to get to about 40. There we go. And now it went above the document border, so I'm going to want to move it down a little bit, right about there. And now I like it. Okay? Now, the only thing that I don't like is the fact that you can see my path. Okay? So I'm going to click on this. And remember that when we go to our color panel, we have the object or we have the text. I want to change the stroke to transparent on that object. And that is going to get rid of that path. And now it just looks like my title is kind of floating, much like it would if we were actually out on the sea. Okay? Now, I'm going to zoom back out so I can see the full page. And along those same lines as this path, I want to create a shape that's going to bleed off the bottom of the page, and I want to create it so that it looks like waves on the ocean. So I'm going to use my shape tool. I'm using the rectangle tool. I want to come over here to my colors, and I want to make the stroke transparent. However, my fill, I want to use a lighter color of this blue that's in the swatches. Okay? So this T here, this is allowing us to change the tint. Okay? The tint adds white to a color. So I'm going to drag this over a little bit, and it's giving me a nice kind of ocean blue, a lighter ocean blue. And I am simply going to drag a box or drag to create a rectangle. Notice I'm using my rulers over here. Okay, so from the left bleed, and I'm guessing that is, let's see, that's 48, 47, 46. I guess that's about the 54, or sorry, not 54, 45, something like that. Whatever that mark is, I'm dragging it there all the way down to the bottom bleed and to the right. Okay? Now, when I click on it, you see the handles. Obviously, you know I can resize with the handles. If I use my direct selection tool, I can change the shape of that box. Now, if I wanted to make waves, though, I need more handles than just those two on the side. So I'm going to go here, and I have some more things that are docked under my pen tool. The first one here is the Add Anchor Point tool. I'm going to click on that. And I'm going to zoom in here on my box a little bit. And I am going to add, I don't know, probably about 4 anchor points. And they don't have to be equally spaced, but you do need to put them more or less on the line in order to have the anchor points. Now, if you use this direct selection tool, notice how it lets you push and pull on any of those anchor points. Okay? And let me pull that down there. And then in addition to that, docked underneath the pen tool is this Convert Direction Point tool. Now, if I click on these points, notice now I have these Bezier handles, which is making more of a curve than just the previous one did. Okay, so I am able to push and pull on these handles to create the illusion of ocean waves down here on this shape. Pretty cool. All right, now, once you have that done, I'm going to use my type tool, and I'm going to create two text boxes, sorry, and I'm going to create them going all the way down into my waves, and I'm going to fill those two columns. I'm going to get those to where they're equally spaced. Okay. I'm going to select both of them, and I'm going to go to the Type menu, and I'm going to choose to fill with placeholder text. Now, at the moment, these are centered. Remember, we don't like centered paragraphs of text. So if I double click, select all, I can left align it. I also probably don't want noteworthy as my text, so I'm going to change that to V. I'm going to type in V and get Verdana. Whoops. And regular. And same thing with the other side. V. Whoops. Regular. And change that to left. Okay. The font size is 12, and that's okay. I do realize that there is a little plus sign here for the overset text. I'm not worried about that right now, though, because I am, this is just placeholder text, okay? I don't actually have anything important that's written on here. If I did, I would change that, okay? Now, you're going to need to have your text wrap panel. So I'm going to my window menu, and I'm opening my text wrap panel. I'm going to click on this shape, and I'm going to choose Wrap Around Object Shape. And now, just like with using an image, my text is taking the shape of the object. I can add a little space around it so it doesn't get too close. And now my text follows that shape as well. Now, I'm going to stop this video here. You're going to need to go on to the next one for a couple more things. Before you do, let's go ahead and do a save as. You're going to want to save this into your folder in schools, period number, underscore, last name, underscore, dolphins. Remember, I saved to my desktop because I don't have a folder in schools. You need to save by going over here to Cougar 11 and go to schools. Hit save and go to the next video.